Okay, welcome to the Hyperloops emergency broadcast. It is I, Bobby Sapphire. I'm here with Honestly Sarcastic. What's up, Joe?
Trying to catch up on the shenanigans that are going down. All the changes, bro. All the
All
changes.
the changes. Production quality is going to be a little crazy because we're just trying to get this done ASAP rather than try and make ourselves look pretty, which takes a lot of work. Right now, Nick, NJ Cuenca, is MIA. About 15 minutes before the rules drop, Nick was like, "Hey, do you guys want a podcast today?" And now we can't find him. But in case you didn't know, the rules reference guide dropped, and so to the old meta and FN2199 especially, this drink's for you. So we have a lot to talk about, and right now we're just going to scroll through the RRG and see and just read through the changes and see how it goes. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see it right on the screen. I think you can read that pretty well. Yeah, that looks good. All right, so if you look at the change log, we're looking at updated replacing upgrades, clarified out of play, updated discard to reroll dice action, that's for running interference, updated damage, clarified Q, updated inherent dice abilities, updated redeploy, clarified controller move, added balance of the force. Balance of the force is the point cost adjustments, updated errata, updated card clarifications, and updated FAQ. Hold on, Nick just messaged me. We just started. Get the fuck on Skype. So, in case you were living under a rock, these changes have been a long time coming, but at the same time, they are fucking crazy. There are even more changes than we thought. And the only thing we can really do is scroll through the RRG and stop at the red texts and see what they have in store for us. So the first one we find is on page 7. And while we wait for Nick to boot up Skype, Joe, initial reactions to just this happening. What are your thoughts? Give us the honestly sarcastic take.
I don't know. That's exactly what it is. I'm just stuttering, and I'm like, oh, I didn't expect any of this crap. Okay. It's gonna be very interesting. This is gonna shake up a bunch of stuff, and I'm pretty sure there's probably nothing gonna touch Sabine. So we're gonna see Sabine come out the cut and start
Yeah.
bashing faces, baby.
Yeah,
Sabine being a
I
dick.
I have the same exact feeling, and I've already been texting with a few people even before this came out. I wrote an article on Monday about what I think you should do if you have a regional before Legacies comes out, and also to take into account these changes that we're seeing right now. Some of them people thought I was a little crazy about, specifically dealing with Phasma, but here it is, dealing with Phasma. But I was talking to someone, I really think Sabine and being able to play Sabine without any hampering, and also include Thermal Detonator in there.
Did anything touch Thrawn? Like I haven't got to some of the stuff. I assume inspection
Nothing
got hit.
touched Thrawn specifically, but when we get to Balance of the Force, Unkar Plut is on there.
Oh, Vibroknife got hit too. Damn.
And Vibroknife got hit. Yep. So
Oh,
hopefully,
yes.
all
Okay.
right. Hopefully
Jesus Christ.
Nick gets in here soon. But let's start with the upgrade change. So upgrades. Here are the changes in red right on the screen. A player may discard an upgrade already on a character to decrease the cost of a new upgrade being played on that character by the cost of the discarded one. This is called, quote unquote, replacing an upgrade, and each player can only do this once per round. And then there's a modification to the next part as well. Each character cannot have more than 3 upgrades. That's not new. If a character ever has more than 3 upgrades, the player who controls it must choose and discard upgrades until it has only 3. And here's the new part. In parentheses, a player can play an upgrade on a character with 3 upgrades and then discard one. This is not the same as replacing an upgrade. The cost of the new upgrade is not decreased.
Ooh.
Why is that relevant? Why do you say ooh?
Uh, because it gives you an out with FN as far as let's say you get the max stack on like one drops or 2 drops, then in subsequent rounds you're rolling, you're doing stuff, and you could still finish out. You just have to pay a bunch for it.
Gotcha. So you could accumulate a bunch of resources, play, a fourth weapon in the form of like your second Z6, and rather that take up your replace and upgrade slot once per turn, you're simply playing a third and discarding one.
Yeah, it's not amazing, but there is an out there. So like probably less on the big expensive ones, but more on like, oh, you played a DH or something. So then like you're just like, all right, I'll get rid of my hold, I'll pay one DH rollout.
So they buffed FN. Is what
No.
you t-
They buffed FN.
this is a
Get out
huge
of here.
this is a huge FN buff. All right, let me see. Add people to this call. Nick Cuenca. Why is it doing
A
that?
fucking buff.
Add to this call.
Hello.
Hey Nick, you're there.
I am.
All
I was
right.
getting ready.
Alive.
I was getting ready to play tonight, so that's why I was not around.
Yeah, well, keep your ringer on, bro. Keep your ringer on when we're waiting for a fact to drop.
The
So,
facketing.
so yeah,
we'd only been waiting like 5 months or something.
Yeah.
Stuff count.
Nick, you had to have your ringer on for the last 5 months. Hold on. When Nick joined the call, we lost Skype on the image. So, Nick, we just talked about upgrades. Joe, keep responding, and Nick can catch up.
So all we talked about was the fact that the first, so you can only overwrite once per round. It's not a per character per thing. It's once per player, and then on attempting to play a fourth upgrade, you can just discard an existing one as opposed to the quote unquote. I'm calling it overwriting. I don't care what the hell they call it. Replacing an upgrade.
Replacing, yeah.
Replacing an upgrade. Screw them. So yeah, like you can just discard one, but that was kind of known already. The expectation was that like when stuff got moved over due to that, you had to get rid of an existing one, but now they just made it outright so you can choose to do it yourself. So there is some. I've got 3 upgrades, and I can just play new ones and discard the rest and get rid of this. Forget this replacing thing. So like, they buffed FN.
Yeah.
According to Mike.
Yeah, that's the FN buff. But the real thing to take away here is that you can only replace an upgrade once per round. It's once per round blanket, so you can't do one per character, which is a little crazy. Things are going to be really hard to keep track of. I've said specifically before on, I think, our podcast, but maybe somewhere else, that I plan to start playing my overwritten or replaced upgrades upside down to keep track. And I don't. There might be a better way. I don't know, but that's one I thought of. And the only other thing is that it's going to be tricky with. We were just talking about Sabine. Being able to use her ability to overwrite and then maybe want to drop a second chance or any second chance deck that could come into play big time.
All right, that sounds. That definitely changes things. There's a lot to think about.
Yeah. So Nick, what we're doing is we're just scrolling through the new RRG and stopping where the red language is. So I don't know if you have that link or do you need me to send that to you?
I'm at the FFG website. I could find it probably here.
Yeah.
Rules reference is now online. All right,
Yeah,
let's see that.
I believe in you.
Random question.
What's up?
Okay, I got it.
Like, the term retard. Can we say whoever wrote this article is an idiot?
I don't think that we can.
Okay. We already talked about not using the word, like the adjective retard. You can use the verb to retard something if you're actively hindering it, but even that is pretty questionable. So let's move on.
Then he retarded the shit out of this article. Like
he retarded our understanding of it. He retarded.
No. He called out Captain Phasma, but then put Awakenings #1. So like you think it's the original Phasma instead of Phasma 2.
Okay, let's get to that when we get to it.
Let's roll on because I gotta go to a Destiny.
Well, you can't play your deck, Nick. You can't play It's a Trap.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about. This is not immediate. I'm gonna have a last hurrah.
There's one last hurrah. All right. So next one is on page 10, and that's out of play. A card leaves play when it transitions from the play area to an out of play area. Remove all tokens from that card. Have we come into play with? Have we found cards that have tokens yet?
At con artists and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Backup muscle.
Okay, so there you go. Remove all tokens. Not the hardest hitting stuff here.
Yeah, that. Trying to think of like why that was
like
necessary.
You kill one of your own backup muscles that had like a token on it. If you brought it back into play with like a docking bay, they're saying that the original tokens on it don't come back. Like con artists, anything like that resets.
Yeah, I mean,
I think as opposed to like that's for people that just are like, no, dude, it doesn't say they lose it.
Yeah, it's a fine clarification, but not one that any common sense was hindering at all.
Okay, cool.
All right.
So
Yes, you have a thought?
No, I mean I'm scrolling through here. Discard to reroll dice.
Yeah, so right before that, so we're on page 14. Play a card from
Oh, it's just
hand. Yep, play a card from hand.
oh,
And that's
okay.
just once per round before paying the cost to play an upgrade. The player can choose to upgrade to replace an upgrade that is already on the chosen character. So that just limits the replace and upgrade to once per round further in the rules. And then yes, so we have the discard to reroll dice change. A player can discard one card of their choice from their hand to reroll, and this is red, any number of dice in their pool. So of course, this is a response to the running interference lock that Architect Gaming wrote about and Joe wrote about. Pretty much immediately upon the release of that card.
Oh, I see. So they can just discard 0 and get out of the lock. That's
Yes.
cool.
So now we can discard for 0 to get out of the lock. Yeah, it is cool, and I
So
think it was necessary.
so does this make that card garbage or still playable?
No.
What do you
No, I think it
super
makes it
playable.
great. I think it makes it do exactly what you want it to do, which is to like prevent people from either catching up with their dice or like using Guardian or playing mitigation from their hand, depending on what you're doing. And you can build your deck around that, and it's pretty great.
It just
Okay.
loses the some of the silly stuff where, let's say, you activate your character and you RI, your opponent like kind of got screwed sometimes if there was nothing they can cast. Like let's say they had a handful of blue character only cards,
Right.
and then no blue character. They were like pass, and then you're like boom, pass 2.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's a really bad play experience. So I think this is a good change. I like it.
That's fine.
Yeah, I think it's a really necessary change. As someone who has been the victim of that lock, it's not fun. And people say, "Oh, you can claim to get out of it," but if you just claim and let your opponent do whatever they want for the rest of the turn, you're going to lose that way too. So, I really like this change. This is the one I was hoping for. I think it's really, really solid.
It's also a mini nerf to like Ankar.
Yeah, sure.
Because the decks that would run out of their dice and finish stuff, you could be like, he's not getting this 4 from me. Pitch.
Yep.
Screw you, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
It just gives a little more flexibility to just dump cards from your hand for no reason, or for a strategic reason. So next up is page 16, and that's under damage. And there's a lot. I know, Joe, you've had some issues with the language under damage. I haven't actually looked at this yet, so hopefully these can answer the questions you've had. The first thing in red is about halfway down the page, which says any excess damage taken by a character above its health is ignored. And this is probably, of course, in response to indirect damage. But let's read on. When a player distributes damage, quote unquote, as they wish, the player assigns characters the amount of damage they will be dealt. A player cannot assign an amount of damage greater than the remaining health plus the number of shields on the character unless a player cannot assign any more damage to their characters and there is still damage remaining to be assigned. Then the player must assign the remaining damage to their characters as they choose. All right, that's a really long sentence. That is an expert level sentence.
Wow, that is a sentence.
A player
Crazy.
cannot assign an amount of damage greater than the remaining health plus number of shields on the character. That seems pretty straightforward.
I mean, that seems pretty straightforward. Intuitively how it worked, but I think that it's sort of like, you could, for Force Illusion, for example, you could assign 2 and then prevent 2, right? So now you couldn't. I didn't think you could ever do, like, if you only had 1 health left, you couldn't be like assign 2 and then remove it with Force Illusion.
Correct,
right?
you could not, and that's clarifying that.
Right.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that, like, I think that a lot of people did have issues with it. I actually played a game yesterday where my opponent was thinking, oh, like, I don't know if I could do this. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it works that way. So, okay, go ahead. You said number 2.
Well, yeah, moving on to that long, like the second half of that long sentence, it continues. Unless a player cannot assign any more damage to their characters and there is still damage remaining to be assigned, then the player must assign the remaining damage to their characters as they choose.
So in a situation where I only have 1 dude and he has like 3 health and you Y-Wing special, some people were saying, well, the 4th damage, it comes in as 3 and 1, which comes in with the next line of text where it's dealt simultaneously. So it's just saying if I only have that 1 guy and I'm distributing and I only have 3 health, but you hit me for 4 with the Y-Wing special, I can assign all 4 because I can't go anywhere else with it.
Okay.
But why would you need to not assign all 4 if that's your last character?
They're just stating that's how it works so that people aren't like, well, where's this extra damage go?
Gotcha. All right. So once damage is assigned, it is dealt simultaneously. So it's almost like 2 steps. You assign all the damage, then once that's resolved, you deal the damage.
Yeah.
Okay, so they have an example. A player has 2 characters with 1 remaining health each. They are forced to distribute 2 damage from the special F11D rifle. They must deal each of their characters 1 damage instead of dealing one of the characters 2 damage. If one of those characters had 1 shield, then both of the damage could have been dealt to that character. Okay. Pretty intuitive. Just, outline.
I
There
think
is
it's
one relevant thing.
What's that?
For stuff like armor plating. So like I have a character with 1 health and a character with 3 health. You assign 4. I can't go 3 to the guy with 1 and then armor plate. I can only put 1 there, 3 on the other, and then I can only armor plate that 1.
Mm.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Does it have any weird interaction with Force Illusion?
No, Force Illusion goes the same way. So like all they're saying is that you can only assign based on the number of shields and character health. So
Right.
I can only max out it with whatever's left.
Assigned damage doesn't take into account any other upgrade that shields.
Correct, because those are maze.
Right.
So let's just say Y-wing. You have your opponent resolve Y-wing. You have a Force Illusion on your guy, and you have 2 health left.
Mhm.
So how does?
Do you have another character with more health or no?
No, just 1 character left.
Then it's 4.
That's 4. Okay, that's what I thought.
But if you had another character with health left, you could only assign the 2, and then the rest has to go elsewhere, and then you Force Illusion for 2 to stay alive.
Right. Yep.
Okay.
Interesting.
Next one up is an addendum to the queue. This just changes the example, and I wonder how Joe, have you checked this out yet? The queue example here.
Give me a second. Let me get to it. My scrolling capability is lackluster.
Okay. So it says.
Oh.
So it gives examples of the queue. In the example 2, see diagram below. A player plays the event Squad Tactics and has Gamorrean Guard upgraded with a Gaffy Stick and a Tusken Raider on their team. The Guard has the Guardian keyword, and since this is a before ability, it interrupts the activation and resolves, but it does not enter the queue. The Guard is defeated by the damage it takes with Guardian, and the redeploy keyword on the Gaffy Stick interrupts it being defeated and moves to the Raider. It does not enter the queue. Squad Tactics then activates the Raider and rolls both its die and the Gaffy Stick die into the pool. The after ability on the Raider triggers and enters the queue, and since nothing else is in the queue, it resolves. So it looks like
that actually is a change.
Okay, so
that's a legit change.
Yeah, because that's interrupting the queue, I'm pretty sure. Right.
No, okay, so here was the old effect. The old effect would be, let's say you had that Gamorrean Guard with a redeploy, and you started Squad Tactics. What they would say is you were in the middle of Squad Tactics effect. So the Gamorrean Guard killed himself. They used to say that the redeploy was an after trigger, so it waited until the end of Squad Tactics and then moved. And I think they're stating now, because it's a before Squad Tactics starts, the Gamorrean is somehow dying before the Squad Tactics. It's the after effect is the redeploy, and then the redeploy should move. But that's really weird, because what happens if it dies in the middle of Squad Tactics?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you Squad Tactics to activate your Gamorrean Guard, it's literally you're moving the upgrade in the middle of the event, right?
No, because I think what they're attempting to state is that the Gamorrean's going to attempt to go as part of Squad, but because it's a before effect, it's probably saying before whatever Squad.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and it's basically what it's doing is making Guardian a before effect, and if he wants to do that with Guardian, it has to occur before the activation. So I guess you wouldn't be able to do it in the middle of Squad Tactics, right?
You know what it might be? We haven't got to the redeploy portion, which is on the next set. They might change the timing for redeploy.
Yeah. Well,
okay, so
it might be before it's defeated instead of after, which would make all the sense now.
So what if you did this? What if you like ordered it differently, where you wanted to activate a Tusken Raider and then activate your Gamorrean Guard in the middle of Squad Tactics, right?
No.
So like, because it says.
Stop for 1 second. It's only because you didn't know the next part. Redeploy is before triggers now.
Oh, is it a before trigger?
Yeah. That's what I was saying. Like I assumed based on the way they worded that, it was going to switch to a before, and then I scrolled down, and it is indeed a before trigger now. So it's before the upgrade would be discarded.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So now none of that matters. The ordering and all the crap we just said matters not.
Okay. Well, also Squad Tactics says activate your non-unique characters at once, so there's really not. Like,
No,
is it
you
all?
always did them one at a time.
okay.
Does it say one at a time, or does it say?
No, it's just the
Well,
way that it did it. Like they tell you how to do squad tactics, and they tell you one at a time. Like if you look at the bottom of the 17, it goes squad tactics enters queue, squad text resolves and activates the characters, but like you get the before triggers, and then it does the afters. Or at least before it was doing it one at a time. It made it seem like, but I guess it does do them at the same time. But because of the before triggers, it's prior to activation. Guy dies, move the upgrade, still not activated yet. Okay, activate, roll the dice.
so it's because Gamorrean and redeploy are before abilities, and that's why it interrupts squad tactics.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes enough sense.
All right, next one is inherent dice abilities, and we already know a couple cards with these: Diplomatic Immunity, Launch Bay, Lure Power. Now, 2 new cards have been added to the short list of cards with inherent dice abilities. That is ID9 Seeker Droid and the Training Remote. So nothing shocking here. Those cards shouldn't be played any differently than they were before this RRG update, but it does specify that they have inherent dice abilities.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think of anything in particular. I don't know. There's the whole feint trick, but I don't think that really matters for this particular instance. That's just a little trick.
Yeah, they just explained it so that people can't complain. Well, it doesn't have its effect. How do you know what the X means?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's weird. Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right.
That's
so
silly.
what Joe just said about redeploy, this is on page 18. The keyword only appears on upgrades. Before this upgrade would be discarded by its character being defeated. You may instead move it to one of your other characters. The upgrade die moves to the new character, even if it was in the dice pool.
Okay.
The redeploy keyword ignores play restrictions when attaching to a new character.
Yep.
So any other implications with the before?
No, it's probably just more accurate now because after effects didn't make sense, because for it to be an after effect, it would have had to have shifted. It would have pretty much hit the graveyard, then came back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just not accurate. So this is why I believe they switched it to the before, because it wasn't correct.
All right, moving on. Our next red text is on page 20, and that is under controller. The controller of a card or die is the player who has it in their play area. By default, players control all of the cards and dice they own. And here's the new part. When an ability refers to your card or die, it is referring to a card or die under your control. So there's a further clarification.
Yeah, Magic has clarifications like that, so that's good.
I would
That's
say
probably because of Palpatine and stuff.
Yeah, I would say any time, like, there's so many, this is still a new game, and the rules get updated so seldom that there's so many clarifications that need to be tracked, that we're just seeing an influx of new details here that we kind of already knew, pretty much already did know. But, of course, it's so much nicer to have it spelled out, causes so many fewer problems.
Mm-hmm.
All right, move is the next one, same page. Some effects allow players to move cards or tokens, and the new ability is when an upgrade moves to a new character, it maintains its state, ready or exhausted. This, of course, can have something to do with like, hunker down or Makashi training, things like that.
Right.
It was probably based off of like Funeral Pyre, because this is probably also why they switched it to before. Because if it was an after effect, in theory, it should have already been out of play, and then came back. So then, like, Makashi with Funeral Pyre would have somehow came in untapped, which none of us considered at all.
Yeah, we forgot to break the game. Our bad.
Yeah.
All right. This is just a slow build to the balance board, man.
I know. I'm really like, where's the juice, man?
Yeah,
don't
don't worry, we're getting there. So we're on page 21 now. We're about 2/3 of the way through the document. Replace. Each player can only replace one upgrade per round.
Yep.
So
Holla.
Yeah. Pour one out for FN. Sad times to be FN players. Still strong.
Oh my god.
Still a strong card. What?
This is my reaction. I just saw it. This is the first time, ladies and gentlemen, I've actually seen this, so I'm actually reading.
Oh, he's
23.
probably catching the numbers.
You just saw the balance board?
I saw the points.
Oh man, don't do
I
it.
saw the points.
Don't do it.
If only we could have saw him. If we could have saw him, it would have been
Oh.
I
epic.
know. Why don't you have your camera on, Nick? Come on.
I don't have my camera on. Oh, that's a dagger. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, turn it on. Let's go.
I'm
We're
grinning.
recording this
I'm
for
grinning.
YouTube as well. I actually like right when I called Joe. He didn't know. I almost told him not to look so I could read him the shit as we went, just to get all natural reactions.
I'm still like reading this stuff. Like
I know, but
What?
some of this stuff is also so complicated. It's hard.
I just realized they hit every 13-point villain character. Oh, nope, not Kylo. Base Kylo that didn't get touched. Sorry,
Oh,
I lied.
That makes sense.
So like Phasma, FN, and Plut, everything you would pair with like Anakin, gone.
Yeah, all the 17-point guys lost their partner, unless you want to play Kylo 1. So here we are. We're at the balance of the Force. There's been 4 changes, all nerfs to villain characters. Of course, villain has been so dominant over the course of the game. This section includes a list of characters whose point values have been modified. The point values listed here supersede the point values printed on the card. So at one point, Captain Phasma from the 2-player set, that has to hurt. They just released this new set, and this new product, and having to change it, so shortly after.
Right.
I don't, less than 2 months, less than 60 days.
Did you guys read my my art? I'm sure you guys didn't read my article today. It just came out, but my whole rant was about how Kylo 2 sucks and has a terribly designed card, but it's going to be real awkward if they're going to have to increase the point cost because of the starter set is like what you start with.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, look at these cards. Oh, it's not what it says now.
Right.
Hey, you know what I'm really happy about now is that I didn't buy 2 of the starter set.
Yeah. Well,
Well, Kylo's still good. I
Kylo's
think.
still fine once he gets a new partner, whenever that is.
Kylo, come on.
But I mean, I think
I know you can't do that.
I bet that they would have liked to change both in some way, but to change both characters from one side is like really, really wild. So Captain Phasma 2-player set moved to 10 and 14 points. It is no longer the 9-13 point beast that it has been for the last 2 months, but still strong. Just doesn't have that crazy pairing with both young Vader and Cad Bane. Cad Bane sadly doesn't have a partner, a solid partner either. But
Phasma's still better than Veers.
Phasma is literally
Still better than Veers.
strictly better than Veers. So you
That's
could
brutal.
you could Phasma Django.
Need more nerf.
I'll say this: Phasma will find more places. Being 10 points in a 3-character list, Phasma will find more places to operate for sure.
No, you just play as 14, and you're like Phasma, Bala, Night Sister.
There you go. There you go. You heard it here first.
Yep. All right, teams getting characters getting 2-point adjustments. FN 2199 moved from a 10-13 to a 12-15. Probably the more appropriate point costing for him, as he has dominated the game since his printing. Since we spoiled him exclusively before Spirit of Rebellion.
Oddly enough, though, Architect still gets to play Dooku FN.
The trolls keep coming.
Wait, that was
New
a
meta.
27-point list? I didn't realize that. Man, he was ready for plots. He was ready for plots with that one. Any other thoughts there?
Well, you can play
Venture.
FN Plut.
FN Ventures, FN Plut.
FN Plut. All right, so yeah, I guess we'll talk about Plut. We'll skip Poe. We'll save him. Unkar Plut moving from a 10-13 also to a 12-15, which is just bonkers to me. I thought Unkar Plut was one of the better characters in the game, one of the few characters who could carry a deck without damage, and like I would have liked to see his ability limited to once per turn before I saw his point cost changed. He was just simply not oppressive in the way that these other 3 characters who've been adjusted have been oppressive.
I think people were just having feel bads about
Unkar.
Thronkar, yeah. So that's like a really bad play experience, and it's just that's like sort of that's a nerf to Thrun too, because like what do you do with Thrun now?
You don't have Phasma. You don't. You gotta run base Kylo, bro. Base
You gotta do
Kylo.
like you gotta do Jabba one die Thrawn. Can you do that?
You could still
Jabba
do one die Unkar.
one die Unkar Jabba. Yeah, that's maybe. I don't
No,
know.
no. I mean, you could do one die Unkar and Thrawn, and you still have two die Unkar Jabba. You just got screwed on plots. I really
Oh
want to know why
yeah.
it's not 11-14 though. Like, why did he have to go 2?
Well, did that prevent him from? Is Thrawn 16?
17?
17, yeah.
Oh.
It's really odd, yeah.
Could be
Like all the people you
something.
would pair it with before, they could still pair it. And like the only thing I can think of is there was some 16-point pairing, or they didn't want you to have like Unkar and 2 Night Sisters or something.
Yeah. Je ne sais. Maybe they were just like, oh, for the costs of how heavy those dice are, he needs to be that. But Jabba's 14, right? So that would
Yeah.
have made sense.
Jabba's 14, so you can run Jabba Unkar with the plot that mills for 1. Boom.
I guess they
There you go.
maybe they just
Boom.
wanted to stop from going like Sienna Unkar or Sienna Unkar into like a non-stormtrooper for like 4 dice. So like
Well,
Yeah.
I can only think
we'll
that
agree.
because we have 11-point villain elite characters, they're like no.
Yeah. I could see. I could see. Yeah. It's really tough because even if it was at 14, and you couldn't do a 5. You couldn't do a 5 die start anyways with 14. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
it also could just have to do with like they probably
Future
know what
stuff.
the next 2 sets are, and there could be something else in the pipeline that just caused them to adjust it by 2 instead of 1.
Yeah, that's fine. They just hate life. It's okay.
Yeah. So last one's Poe Dameron. Poe Dameron hasn't really seen much play since Empire Wars come out, but even so, we see his points adjusted from 1418 to 1620, which eliminates any 4-die pairing with
No,
Max.
Still got it.
But
We still got Ezra.
But he can still 4-die with Ezra, which isn't spectacular, but it's certainly not. It's certainly not. Well, yeah, it's
Good.
pretty bad, but it's not good. It's not good.
Well, it's a 4 die deck with Poe, so it's worth trying at least. Now that all this other stuff's been nerfed, who knows? It's a whole new world, a whole new world.
I just remember he's a legend. That poor bastard.
Yeah, he's the
Yeah.
only legend that's been nerfed. So
Well, I'll say this: we got plenty of time with him. He certainly did his thing for quite a while.
Correct. Just right now, he's in a bad situation.
Yeah, I
But
think
anyways,
pretty much forget about him.
more, but you know what, guys? He is more than a pilot. So
More than
All right.
more than a pilot to me.
let's get to
More
the other
than-
erratas.
All right, let's get to erratas. It's a trap, Nick. Nick
Why?
wrote about Mono
No.
Red Heroes, his favorite deck in the world. It's a trap, no longer has ambush, and should read: choose a symbol showing on an opponent's die, then turn up to 2 of your red dice sides, showing that symbol. This card is officially a coaster. I literally have my beer on a copy of It's a Trap right now.
I wish you could see my complete disgust on my face right now, but you can't.
Yeah, you're lighting
I shed a
us back.
tear.
That's so bad.
Yeah, I was trying to set up my other camera, but let me see if I can set that up. Can people see me?
Yeah,
We
they
can see you. It's
but
super blurry.
that's fine.
It's kind of like you just left residue on the cameras.
Yeah, you just look like you're. Yeah, you look like you forget to wipe it up after you and your girlfriend went to town in front of it. All right, next one.
Oh,
So,
Jesus.
any other thoughts on It's a Trap? I mean, this card is basically blanked. It doesn't have ambush, only 2 dice. Like, it went from one of the most broken hero cards to like a piece of shit.
Ha heroes. It's like, oh no, we can't have heroes having anything good. It's a trap dominated the meta. We have to ban it immediately.
All right.
Any
They
other
saw me
thoughts?
coming, guys. I
you
shouldn't have
running
written
away,
about it. What?
Well,
Is it you running away to make it to the
camera's
event?
off now. Yeah.
Oh, is it? No, blah, blah, blah. Wait, let me see.
That's fine. Poor it's a trap.
Yeah.
It's I don't think you can do it anymore. Like I guess you can splash it occasionally, but
Whatever.
you need a real good reason to have that shit now.
Yeah, it's real rough. All right, so
It
let's
doesn't even have ambush.
I'll
That's
skip
so-
I'll skip around just because it's along the same thematically. The Empire War cards, the first one that's around is Heat of Battle. Should read: choose an opponent. That opponent turns up to 2 of their dice to side showing damage, ranged or melee, turn up to 2 of your dice sides to sides showing damage.
Oh my god.
How you
Whatever.
stop running that card right there. That effect.
Yeah.
I mean, that card
bro.
was good. They just banned all the cards in my deck.
Yeah, they did.
They retarded Heat of Battle, and It's a Trap. That's what they did.
They did retard their development in a pretty significant way in the meta. I mean,
To be
and
fair,
again,
it was pretty brutal.
It was pretty cruel. It was pretty broken, but it really just blanked those 2 cards. They really don't want you fixing your damage to that level right now. At least that widespread among that many dice. It seems like they want to keep it with concentrate, just 2 dice. Next one up is Imperial Inspection. So should read, this is a pretty big change. After one of your dice rolls disrupt, you may set this support aside to return an upgrade in play that costs 2 or less to its owner's hand. So once per game, it does not go to your discard pile. It gets put in the set-aside zone to never be used again. Will this card ever see the table ever again?
Maybe, but not. It's not nearly anywhere as good. Like if it removed itself and the upgrade, that'd been amazing, and it would still see play. yeah. But I mean, like it kills itself. Kill the other thing.
Right. I think you can see it. It's not an automatic windmill slam, but it's definitely for a deck. I think if Funkar was still a deck, you could still see it playing it. So I don't know.
I guess I think that they were afraid to ban cards, yet they're sitting here banning cards. Like they're saying they're not, but they are.
Hey, guess what happened? No one's running Rend anymore.
Yeah, I mean, Rend.
Yeah, really.
Rend is
you can't get locked out of RI. Imperial Inspection's poop.
Yep.
So are you afraid of Holocron and Force Speed now?
Yeah, well, I mean, they stopped printing good Force abilities for Holocron, so whatever.
Pick up your holocrons while they're still $5, because boom,
it's coming back, baby.
It's coming back, baby.
Here we go. All right, so the big one, Vibro Knife should read ambush. Damage dealt by this die or by dice it modifies is unblockable. Joe,
brutal.
I like that change.
Let me ask you this: is so dice it modifies. So if I have my 1 Vibro Knife showing and I've got 2 blue modified sides. Does the black modify the blue, or does the blue only modify the black?
No. The blue is modifying the knife, so the knife's the one doing the damage, so it's still fine.
Right, but it says damage dealt by... Oh, I see. Yeah, it's still doing that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right, makes sense. Perfect. So is this an effective ban?
No.
Not ban.
Errata?
No, but I mean, I think the other 3 cards, Heat of Battle, It's a Trap, Imperial Inspection, are banned. So is this a ban, or do you think this card will see play?
No, this card will still see play.
Oh, still see play. Yeah. Ambush is still good with Ray, and I'm surprised they didn't do anything to Ray after they did something. It's a trap.
You can only upgrade once.
You can only upgrade once, which is a significant change. You can still play Ray. She's not unplayable. They didn't effectively ban her.
Yeah, but it's still good with like Force Speed. You can like ambush chain, like play Force, have a bunch of Force Speeds, and do a bunch of actions still that way.
Yeah, I think they're okay with that.
Yeah, okay.
That was fine though. It was the I take 3 actions in a row that were like Han rolled out, Han fair traded.
No, but you can
money some more.
Yeah,
well, you could still
8 actions in a row. Han like
no. But it was the 3 in a row.
Reroll them twice.
They didn't want the redeploy. I see. That's fine.
What?
What do you
they
mean?
just didn't want that. They just didn't want the overwrite shenanigans.
Yeah.
They're fine with the actions from.
Do you think this errata was needed or necessary?
Needed or necessary? No. But this will bring Mono Blue Hero back to a good place because they are entirely built on shields right now and like blocking stuff. So only having the Vibro Knife pretty much to sneak in occasionally is going to be a vastly different thing.
So
yeah.
I was gonna say so all these changes to the cheap characters, I'm just concerned about next sets because I'm sure they've already locked in what they're designed for the next sets, right? And I did see the power of those cheaper characters not be as crazy as Phasma or Unkar and FN. So maybe they already had that in the plan, but I'm just worried about other characters that they haven't spoiled yet because they weren't thinking about it as much. It seemed. Just between this, the Unkar FN set and Empire War.
I love that Fast Hands is the image for the errata section.
Yeah. Yep.
Pew pew.
All right, moving down to card clarifications. The Nothing from Awakening, Spirit Rebellion, Destiny. Before effects that decrease the cost of a card cannot be used in combination with Destiny to play a card with a higher value. Any thoughts?
Oh, hold on a second.
Where is that?
It's
I see
under
it.
card
Okay.
clarifications, page 26,
Okay.
Destiny on the left. Before effects that decrease the cost of a card cannot be used in combination with Destiny to play a card with a higher value.
Okay, so trying to think what's a before effect. Is Padawan a
Padawan?
before effect?
Like tech
I thought the
team,
Padawan
something
was a
like
when.
tech team. I mean, I know you can't use it in
Oh,
this case.
okay,
But
so you can't use it with it binds all things. No, I thought it's as you play. Is it before? I don't remember either one being before. I thought they were like when you play.
Hold on, I'm looking.
I'm looking right now. Yeah.
before.
Alright.
What the fuck is a before effect?
This is
Yeah,
great.
no, Padawan's when. It's not a before.
All right, well,
And
let's
define.
while we search, let's talk about premonitions then. That's the next one. So premonitions has a clarification. If there is a play restriction that prevents the card from being played, discard it to its owner's discard pile. I guess I guess that's not really a big deal.
Binds is before, by the way.
Okay, so binds is a before.
Yeah.
So you can't use
Padawan.
binds to remove a 2-cost blue die to play a 3-cost upgrade.
Correct. You cannot Destiny a 2-cost or a 2-value die to play a 3-cost unless it's like on Padawan.
Right. It
It's
would
a
have
trap.
to. It would have to be. Yeah. It would. Right. Okay. So, yeah.
That one's a waste. I felt like they could have left that.
Premonitions. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think that's fine. I think it makes the card Destiny a little bit more confusing. Maybe fine for high level play, but what's up? What's up, Nick?
That's what Yoda says. Yes, what Yoda sounds like.
Oh,
on
you're
premonition.
just googling the image of Yoda janking all over your camera, and, like loving it. All right, I don't really. Is there any premonitions thing that we like in the meta that we need to know about? That there's like it discards to the owner's discard pile.
I think they're just referring to like blue only. So like, let's say you premonitions when you don't have a blue character, Mind Probe would not just go into your guy.
Yeah. All right.
That's all it is. I think it's just minor clarification.
So
Okay, yeah,
holy shit! No, there's a bunch of Empire at War clarifications because, of course, there was no RRG after Empire at War, so we can bang through these. Ahsoka Tano, you must pay for dice from upgrades on her as well. In case that was unclear. I feel like that was clear. Ancient Lightsaber.
Okay.
When this upgrade's action is used, place it on the bottom of its owner's deck.
In case you stole it with Grievous.
Gotcha.
Okay. Yep. Makes sense.
Coercion.
Coercion.
All right. So if the player cannot pay for the event or fulfill any play restrictions on it, then they do not have to play it and can take any action they wish. Okay. Even if the event has no effect, a player must play it and resolve as much of it as possible, provided they fulfill any play restrictions listed on the card. Hopefully this clarifies the whole you can spot a character. I really wish they just used that in an example because people still struggle with it, but you complete as much of the card text as you can. And
Well, the problem is people didn't know when you played a card that said spot whatever, you could play it, and it just fizzled.
Right, but that's why I think that it should be an example on this document. Passing is not an action, so a player can choose to pass their turn instead of taking an action. The next time they would take an action that round, they must still play the chosen event if able. I feel like those were all, and maybe that was even addressed in like an email from the designers way back when.
It was addressed, but the problem is like we're competitive and we got in touch with the people to like do stuff, and the regular people screwed.
Yeah,
they're like, no, man.
So now it's for Joe Public. General Hux, the special ability counts each character you have in play, not any of your defeated characters. Good to know.
Yeah.
Grand,
that?
Yep. Grand Inquisitor's Lightsaber. When resolving the special, you can re-roll it instead of removing it from your pool, even if you did not turn a character die to a blank. All right, that's cool. Hut ties. Either option can be chosen, even if a player does not have any resources or die. So that's like let the Wookiee win or create Dragon
Yep.
Howl. You can always choose the thing that won't affect you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, ID9 Secret Droid, redundant, but this ability is an inherent die ability. We already covered that earlier, and the value of this die is constantly checked and will decrease whenever another ID9 Secret Droid die leaves your pool. So if both are showing melee and you resolve one and then the other, it's only 3. It's not 4.
Mm-hmm.
Kanan Jarrus, you must declare what action you're taking before using Kanan's ability. So we've seen this kind of be important. I think it's probably more important at a high-level event where you need to make sure you're saying, like, I'm going to play a card before you focus into a melee and then play Force Misdirection.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Any other instances where that might be important?
No, I think it's been fine the whole time. People are just being like Nazis about it.
Yeah, and I think like in a casual game that's totally fine, and even like in a
The rules lawyering.
quarter kit is fine. But if it were top 4 of Worlds, I would expect you to declare your action, or otherwise you've just used that die as your action.
Yeah.
Mace Windu shields do not affect remaining health. Feel like that's pretty obvious, but whatever.
Hey,
Any clarification's fine.
People gotta know.
Magna Guard. Even if this character is healed after its ability triggers, it will still be defeated at the end of the round. And you can still deal damage to this character once it has a damage on it. Just any excess damage over that is ignored.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
But obviously, what we read earlier about assigned damage is that you wouldn't be able to assign damage to it.
Yep.
Port District. If you decrease the cost of the upgrade being played below 3 or even play it for free, it does not gain ambush.
That one's a ban.
Yeah, that's a ban. Not that anyone
but
has ever played that card. It was banned right
I
away.
played it.
I've seen people play it, and I was just like, you're terrible.
I played it, but I thought it worked the way I thought.
This next one. Oh, I should not read ahead.
Yeah. So running interference, this is a big one. After taking action, using 2 copies of support on the same opponent will only prevent them from taking that action on their next turn that round, not their next 2 turns. I don't think that this really needed clarification, but I guess it's important if people were confusing it. Yeah, if you tap both your running interferences when you activate a character, you're not blocking 2 of their next actions. That would be ridiculous.
Yeah, that would be pretty bunker city.
Yeah.
Well, they're also saying, so like I activate my character and then I double tap both of them. Like I have 2 in play and I tap it on 1 action. They're just saying it doesn't stack multiple turns.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, okay. Okay, no, I'm just clarifying in case people thought it was I did the 2 RIs on 2 separate things in my turn.
You said exactly what I said, just less beautifully.
Probably.
I don't know. We might have actually said the exact same words. I'm just.
I have no idea.
All right, we are at the. Let me just check the bottom. We are at the FAQ, the actual FAQ. If I use my action to claim docking bay, and I use it to play outmaneuver, do I get the resource from outmaneuver, Joe?
No.
Nick?
No.
You guys.
Although
right.
I did ask this recently with a different card, which was that.
Oh
no, not Uprising. The other one, the one that costs 1. That you can like stack.
Drop zone.
Sudden drop zone. Yeah.
Yeah. You switched your battlefield from Port District to Docking Bay in your list. No, you did not get the resource. The card was not in play when you claimed the battlefield, so its abilities did not enter the queue. Can I discard a unique upgrade in play to play and lower the cost of another copy?
Nope.
No, you cannot play a unique upgrade if you have another copy of it in play. Obviously, it's unique.
How would it lower the cost? How would it lower the cost?
The overwrite. So like you have raised lightsaber, you can't overwrite.
You can't overwrite it for 2 more shields.
Yeah, like you've never been able to do that, but I guess they didn't clarify it enough for people to be like, "Oh, this is the timing."
Can I?
I mean, but the thing that I wanted to know was basically, it just seems like a weird question to phrase it that way, and lower the cost of another copy. It's just like you cannot play another unique upgrade, right? You see what I mean? Like,
Correct.
Can I just?
Correct.
Yeah.
It's just a question people were asking, so that they wrote it
Right.
that way because they stated before that you couldn't play, but they didn't kind of explain the replacing upgrade, which I'm going to call overwriting for the rest of my life, as like the timing. So it's really supposed to be like attempt to play the card, but you're never allowed to play it because you have one in play. Oh, hey, look, I like this next one. I want to do this one.
All right, do it.
Can I play Endurance if my opponent removed one of my dice with prize possession during the last turn? No! You cannot play Endurance. The dice placed on prize possession is therefore under your opponent's control.
Now, can you actually not play it at all? Is there a restriction?
I hate you.
Did they mess up with their FAQ already? Lawyered.
Correct. It has a play restriction. You can play only if
okay.
one or more of your dice were removed. Since you're not in control of the die, it is not your die.
Okay. Ah, raspberries.
Yep. And then the last one is if I resolve the special ability on Ascension Gun to use the claim ability on Main Plaza, can I move damage from it or onto it? Yes. Ascension Gun allows you to move damage from it or onto it.
Finally, a yes.
Well,
Actually, that
just
one's
blew my
interesting.
mind.
Well, I think the funny thing about that one is so they're stating that battlefield's in play, it's just not accessible. Because you remember how they're talking about tokens for something that wasn't in play doesn't stay with it?
Mm-hmm.
So I'd assume that via that they're inherently stating that Main Plaza is in play, it's just unused.
Wait, so but damage, so the tokens would be on it while it's out of play?
It's not out of play.
Okay, so it's
Well, that's my
technically,
assumption. Hold on. Let me go check.
is it in the
Because-
set aside zone or no? It's not.
I don't know.
Yeah, interesting. I had to look at that.
Battlefield. Do. Give us a high five.
You guys talk. I'm setting up the post so this podcast can go live immediately.
Are you sure you don't want to wait till tomorrow? We could like post it in the morning because, content, yada, yada, yada.
No.
Well, we do have an article ready to go.
Oh, we do? Okay.
For
All right,
Hirata's.
that's fine.
Yep.
Which will need to be brushed up, but the podcast is like a completely separate amount of hits, and we can actually link the podcast in the article tomorrow.
Okay.
Is the podcast still recording?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just confirming. Okay, so it says battlefields, right under the battlefield sections, battlefields represent various locations that players face off in. One battlefield is chosen at the beginning of the game, and the other battlefield is not used. It doesn't say set it to the side or anything like that. So it just
Okay.
Yep.
That makes sense. All right, cool. Well, that's going to be interesting. I'm definitely going to do that with the deck. Play Ascension and and Plaza. Because that's just kind of sweet. All right, gents, I'm going to go. I'm going to go try to catch my tournament. And just
Actually, I'm sorry. I lied.
Oh.
Set aside zone. Battlefields that are not chosen during setup also use that zone.
Huh.
So that's okay. So hold on. That's some weird shit.
Yeah,
So
because
if
it leaves play. You remove all
it loses
tokens.
all the tokens, but you can keep Ascension gunning while it's in the set aside zone.
Or you can keep it. Okay.
So if you new orders it out of play, it loses all the tokens. But
Okay.
while it's in the set aside zone, it can gain
Or
and lose
play
tokens.
when it transitions.
And then if it comes
Oh,
in,
okay.
it can bring them with it. That's my assumption of it.
Well, it says here a card leaves play when it transitions from the play area to an out of play area. Remove all tokens from that card, but I guess it works both ways, right?
Yeah.
Because like if it specifically said a card leaves play when it transitions from the play area to the out of play area, not out of play area into the play area. I mean, this is like very heavy lawyering, but
Correct.
okay. All right. So it will lose all tokens when it comes back into play. If you were to new orders it after. Oh, it wouldn't.
Not when it comes in. I'm saying when it goes out.
When it goes out, but when it comes in, it would come in with tokens. Really weird, but okay.
Gotta love it. Love it. Main Plaza. Broke.
Main Plaza is so broke, son.
All right, gentlemen. I'm gonna head out though. But this is crazy. All these things.
Have fun. You're late. They're firing without you.
So
Sucker.
much to process.
All right.
All right, let's
Later.
call this shit show so I can get this uploaded.
Later, loopers.
Yeah.
Rest in pieces, Trap.
Yeah, right.
Oh, rest in peace, a whole lot of shit.
Rip everything. Rip the meta. Rip FN. Rip It's a Trap. Rip Hits a Battle. Heat a Battle. What hasn't been ripped? Rip Main Plaza.
They didn't touch Never Tell Me the Odds.
District. No, they left that yellow shit. They left Sabine. They're like, ooh, Sabine, we like this. Let's leave everything in Sabine okay. We'll misdirect. We'll change running interference to not be too broken, but everything else will just be fucking amazingly broken.
Everything else is fine. No problem. Kylo, almost unusable. Why? Because there's no one to fucking partner him with.
When are TTS League decks due? Also, so another thing that I guess like we should probably have talked about but didn't is that Asmodee and FFG announced a video game platform, so TTS could die any minute. Like literally could just murder, like shoot it in the back of the head at any second.
Oh. Didn't hear about that one.
Yeah, it was news today. It was a big news day for Destiny. We should probably talk about that, but I really want to get this uploaded and I want to stop doing this podcast. So
yeah, that's fine. Do the do.
All right.
You don't have to see our hairy faces anymore.
All right. Later,
5 o'clock
later,
shadows
everybody.
everywhere.
6 o'clock.
Who says?
Later.
6 o'clock.